The year is 364 AD. Imagine the Roman Empire, a vast and mighty power that had ruled for centuries. Now imagine it split in two. This is exactly what happened when Emperor Valentinian I decided to share power with his brother Valens. Valentinian took the west, with all its challenges, while Valens got the east, a land of riches and ancient cultures. This division may have seemed like a good idea, but it would have disastrous consequences. The empire, once united, was now vulnerable. Little did they know, a storm was brewing on the horizon, a storm that would change the course of history. This storm came in the form of a people known as the Goths, a group of warriors from the north. They were about to collide with Rome in a battle that would decide the fate of the empire. The fragile peace of the newly divided empire wouldn't last. A challenger emerged, a man named Procopius. Claiming to be the rightful heir to the throne, he launched a rebellion against Valens. This internal struggle was a distraction Valens could not afford. The Goths, sensing weakness, were watching from the shadows, their power growing. Procopius's rebellion was a dangerous distraction for Valens. He needed to secure his throne, and quickly. The fate of the Roman Empire hung in the balance. Could Valens overcome this internal threat and face the growing menace from the north? The stage was set for a confrontation. Valens, a seasoned soldier, moved swiftly to crush Procopius's rebellion. He finally defeated his rival in 366 AD. A victory, yes, but it had cost him precious time and resources. The borders of the Eastern Empire were vast and vulnerable. Valens faced threats from the Sassanid Persians in the east and the ever-present danger of the Goths to the north. He needed to be strong, to show his enemies that Rome was not to be trifled with. However, the Goths were a tenacious enemy. They were battle-hardened and eager for a new home. The Roman Empire, with its fertile lands and wealth, was a tempting prize. The clash between these two powers was becoming inevitable. Far away in the steppes of Eurasia, a new power was rising, the Huns. These fierce warriors were pushing westward, conquering everything in their path. The Goths, caught in the crosshairs, were forced to flee. Imagine their desperation, their homes lost to the relentless Huns. The Goths, led by Fritigern, a cunning and ambitious leader, looked to the Roman Empire for refuge. They appealed to Valens, begging him to grant them safe passage across the Danube River and settle within Roman territory. This was a pivotal moment. Would Valens show mercy and grant them salvation? Or would he view them as a threat and turn them away? His decision would have far-reaching consequences. Valens, perhaps blinded by the prospect of bolstering his army with Gothic warriors, agreed to let them in. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but it would prove to be a fatal mistake. The influx of Goths was poorly managed. Corruption within the Roman ranks led to the exploitation of the Goths. They were cheated, starved, and treated with contempt. Resentment began to fester within the Gothic camps. The seeds of rebellion were sown. Valens had made a grave error. He had invited a wolf in sheep's clothing into his home. The Goths, desperate and angry, were ready to fight for their survival. I'm sure you've heard the news. The situation boiled over in the city of Marcianopolis, a bustling Roman trading hub. But what exactly happened? A local Roman official, Lupicinus, fueled by fear and prejudice, attempted to disarm the Goths, fearing they might revolt. Was this a wise move? This act of aggression was the spark that ignited the fire. The tension was palpable. The Goths, feeling betrayed and trapped, rose up in open rebellion. Their fury was unstoppable. Lupicinus's actions had backfired terribly. Chaos reigned supreme. What began as a local incident quickly spiraled out of control, engulfing the entire region in flames. The fire of rebellion was spreading. The Goths, thirsty for revenge and driven by desperation, were a formidable force. Who could stop them? The Roman Empire, caught off guard, was about to face its greatest challenge yet. The battle for survival had just begun. The rebellion spread like wildfire. The Gothic warriors, skilled horsemen and fierce fighters, rampaged through the countryside, defeating the Roman forces sent to stop them. Valens, preoccupied with his campaigns against the Persians, was slow to react. He finally realized the gravity of the situation and recalled his legions from the east. He gathered his forces, preparing for a decisive battle to crush the Gothic rebellion. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of the Roman Empire. It was the year 378 AD. The Goths, led by Fritigern, were camped near the city of Adrianople, strategically awaiting the Romans. The trap had been set. On August 9, 378 AD, the two armies clashed on the scorching plains outside Adrianople. The Roman army, confident in its superior numbers and discipline, charged into battle. However, the Goths were ready. Their cavalry, superior in number and skill, outmaneuvered and attacked the Roman flanks. The Roman lines wavered, then broke. Panic spread, turning a retreat into a rout. The Roman army, once the pride of the world, was utterly crushed. Thousands of legionaries lay dead on the battlefield, including their Emperor Valens. The defeat at Adrianople sent shockwaves throughout the empire. It was a defeat of epic proportions, a day that would go down in history as infamous. In the chaos of the battle, Emperor Valens was separated from his guards. His fate remained a mystery for centuries. Some say he was killed by a stray arrow, while others believe he perished in a burning farmhouse where he had sought refuge. Regardless of how he died, one thing was clear: Rome had lost its emperor on the battlefield. News of his death spread panic throughout the empire. The Goths, emboldened by their victory, roamed free, plundering at will. The Roman Empire was leaderless, its army shattered, its people terrified. The very foundations of Roman power were shaken to their core. The Battle of Adrianople was a turning point in Roman history. It exposed the vulnerabilities of the empire and marked the beginning of its decline in the west. The Goths, once refugees, were now a powerful force within the empire. Although the Eastern Roman Empire would survive for centuries to come, the West would eventually crumble under the weight of barbarian invasions. The myth of Roman invincibility was shattered. The Battle of Adrianople served as a stark reminder of the dangers of complacency and the fall of empires. It showed the world that the Roman Empire was not invincible and paved the way for the rise of new powers in Europe. The legacy of Adrianople lived on, a cautionary tale of the perils of complacency and the fall of empires.